Winter in the city kills quietly. Not with drama, not with headlines, but with cold. Every year, when frost glazes the concrete and breath hangs visible in streetlight, exposure becomes a mathematical equation. Core temperature falls below 35 degrees Celsius. Shivering stops. Judgment fades. Survival time shrinks. And here's the hard truth. A tent is not a heater. It is a wind barrier. Nothing more. Fabric walls, pulled taut between aluminum poles, have almost zero insulation value. The R value of standard nylon tent material is close to zero. It stops the wind from cutting through. It does not stop heat from bleeding out into the frozen air. So how do people survive inside them? Today, we are analyzing the invisible science of heat retention. How do you create a 20-degree microclimate when the outside air drops below freezing, without electricity, without gas, without shelter? This is not theory. These are real-world engineering solutions born from necessity. And when temperatures drop below zero, they make the difference between discomfort and death. The ground is the enemy. When people think about cold, they think about AIR temperature. That is mistake number one. The real enemy is beneath you. Frozen soil acts like a heat sink. Asphalt, concrete slabs, earth hardened by weeks of frost. The thermal conductivity of moist ground is far higher than still air. When you lie down, your body weight compresses your sleeping bag insulation beneath you. Compressed insulation loses loft. No loft means no trapped air. No trapped air means no insulation. The ground steals heat through conduction, and it steals it fast. The solution is a thermal break. Cardboard is not trash. It is engineered insulation. Corrugated cardboard, the kind discarded behind grocery stores and warehouses, contains trapped air channels running through its structure. Those air pockets drastically reduce conductive heat transfer. When layered properly, cardboard can achieve an effective R value comparable to entry-level foam pads. But here is the detail that separates survival from suffering. You do not stack it randomly. You alternate the orientation. Layer 1, corrugation lines running horizontal. Layer 2, vertical. Layer 3, horizontal again. Because air channels running in multiple directions reduce thermal bridging, you create a cross-hatched insulation matrix beneath your body. 3 to 5 layers of flattened boxes, dry and stacked with intention, can mean the difference between stable core temperature and hypothermia. Elevation is king. A wooden pallet, the kind stacked in alleyways behind loading docks, creates a physical air gap between your body and the frozen ground. Air, especially still air, is one of the best insulators available in survival situations. No pallet? Dry leaves. Stacks of newspaper. Even crumpled plastic bottles wedged beneath the tent floor. Anything that traps air. Moisture destroys insulation performance. Wet cardboard loses its structural integrity and collapses into pulp. Wet leaves conduct heat like metal. In winter survival, dryness equals insulation efficiency. No dryness, no survival. Now we move from conduction to convection. Heat does not just sink into the ground, it rises. Warm air naturally circulates upward and escapes through gaps in fabric, through zippers left slightly open, through seams. That is convective heat loss. The solution is not a bigger tent. It is a smaller one, inside the larger tent. In insulation science, trapped air is everything. Double-pane windows work because they trap still air between 2 layers of glass. That dead air space dramatically reduces heat transfer. The same principle applies here. A smaller enclosure inside the tent, built with blankets, plastic tarps, or salvage sheeting, reduces the volume of air that needs to be heated by body warmth alone. Less air volume means faster temperature increase. Your body produces roughly 70 to 100 watts of heat at rest. In a large tent, that heat dissipates into the void. In a smaller enclosed volume, it accumulates. That is how you build a microclimate. The construction is simple. Suspend a tarp or blanket ceiling lower than the tent roof. Seal side gaps with clips or tape. Leave a controlled ventilation slit near the top. Create a sleeping pod just large enough for your body. You are not heating a tent. You are heating a cocoon. But here's the hidden danger. Overseal the tent and humidity rises. Every breath contains moisture. In freezing temperatures, that moisture condenses on cold surfaces. Fabric walls begin to weep. Water droplets form along the ceiling. Wet interior walls drip onto insulation below. Wet insulation collapses. Wet clothing kills. Water conducts heat 25 times faster than air. So ventilation matters. A small vent at the highest point allows moist air to escape. It prevents internal rain. It keeps insulation functional. Urban winter. Survival is not just about heat. It's about moisture control. Insulation slows heat loss, but sometimes you need additional heat input. That's where thermal mass comes in. A plastic bottle filled with hot water. This is one of the simplest and most effective survival tools ever invented. Water has high specific heat capacity, about 4.18 joules per gram per degree Celsius. That means it stores heat efficiently. Boil water outside at a safe source, like a camp stove or a shelter kitchen. Anywhere with access to flame. Fill a thick plastic bottle with rigid walls and seal it tightly. Place it inside your sleeping bag near your femoral artery or against your core. It radiates heat for hours, not minutes. Hours. 1 liter of hot water can provide a slow-release heat source through the coldest part of the night. No flame inside the tent. No carbon monoxide risk. Just stored thermal energy. This is engineering at its simplest. Now we address something controversial. The flower pot heater. A candle placed beneath inverted clay pots creates a mild, radiant heat source. The terracotta absorbs heat from the flame and radiates it slowly into the surrounding air. But here is the reality. In small, enclosed spaces, candles consume oxygen and produce carbon monoxide. Poor ventilation equals silent death. If used, it must be stable, elevated off flammable surfaces, monitored constantly, and ventilated properly. Never place a candle near fabric walls. This method provides limited heat output, roughly 30 to 80 watts per candle. It is supplemental, not primary. Fire inside a tent is a risk multiplier. Primitive, effective. Heat stones near a small outdoor fire, not river rocks. They can explode from trapped moisture when heated. Use dry, dense stones like granite, sandstone, or fieldstone pulled from dry areas. Once heated, wrap them in cloth and place them near your feet inside the tent. Stone has high thermal mass. It releases stored heat slowly through the night. Again, no flame inside, only stored energy. The rule is simple. Bring heat in. Do not create fire inside. Now we shift inward. Your body is the furnace. Protect it correctly. Cotton kills. That's not a slogan. It's physics. Cotton absorbs moisture and holds it against your skin. Wet cotton loses all insulating properties and increases heat loss through evaporative cooling. Evaporation requires energy. That energy comes from your body. Synthetic fabrics and wool behave differently. They wick moisture away from skin, and they retain insulation even when damp. Layering works because it traps air between layers. Base layer, moisture-wicking synthetic or merino wool against the skin. Mid-layer, lofted insulation, fleece, down, or synthetic puff. Outer layer, wind barrier. Each layer increases effective R value. Each trapped air gap reduces heat transfer. Tight clothing compresses insulation. Compression reduces trapped air. Reduced air equals reduced warmth. Fit matters. Here is the biochemical hack. Digestion generates heat. This is called diet-induced thermogenesis. Eating calorie-dense food, especially fats, before sleep increases metabolic heat production. Fat contains 9 calories per gram. It burns slowly in the body. That slow metabolic burn sustains internal heat through the night. A small, high-fat meal before bed, such as peanut butter, nuts, cheese, or chocolate, can raise resting metabolic output enough to maintain core temperature stability. Cold nights are not the time to skip calories. Fuel equals fire. Urban winter survival is not luck. It is engineering. Layered cardboard becomes a thermal barrier. Dead airspace becomes insulation. Water becomes a radiator. Stone becomes stored sunlight. Food becomes internal combustion. Every decision counters a law of thermodynamics: conduction, convection, radiation, evaporation. On the street, survival is a constant battle against physics. And the people who endure it are not reckless. They are adaptive. They are inventive. They are engineers without degrees. Which technique surprised you the most? If you want more raw, technical, urban survival intel, subscribe. Because in extreme environments, knowledge isn't interesting, it's critical. Stay prepared.